Howdy, howdy, howdy. Happy noon, guys. Happy Tuesday, right? Welcome to the Finance Freeman live stream number two. Number two, guys. I'm very excited about today. I think that even though the market's capitulating, right? We're gonna go over Bitcoin in a minute, but even though we're capitulating, there's a reason why. And now is the time to really divide what is the fluff in the market versus what actually has substance behind it in terms of altcoins. Where's the next narrative going forward? What is the fluff in the market that has taken up so much market cap that really honestly just does not need to be there, guys? So before we get into it, as always, I am not a financial advisor, guys. Always do your own research, but if you understand that, well, then let's get into it. Oh, look, the wife's here. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to everyone. If there's something specific you want me to look at, just let me know down in the comments below. But make sure you subscribe over on YouTube, man. I'm really excited about this. I remember when we first started this channel, guys, at 300 subscribers after months of hard work, and now here we are, 12.4K. I couldn't be any more grateful than what we have built here. So make sure you subscribe, put on the bell notification, and know that we're always here at the same time. Also over on X, make sure you give us a follow. About the same size there. So we got equal mind share both places, but with full-time Freeman, I'm fully expecting us to grow at a very fast rate, even in a time when the market's down, because it doesn't matter if the market's down, we are here. Because in my opinion, their financial advice, the money is not made when you sell, it's when you buy. And the best buying opportunities are often when it feels like it's over. When everyone thinks it's over, that's normally the bottom. But are we there yet? We're going to get into it. Also, if you want to be with a like-minded community, get around like-minded people, see different trades, whether it's meme coins, whether it's, futures trading, anything, just be around a like-minded group of people, guys. You could join the Discord. There will be a WAP link down below. But I do want to say shout out to our sponsors, guys. Number one, Blofin. Thank you so much to them. Without them, without all you, this would not be possible. There is a deposit bonus available if you sign up for Blofin. So if that's something you're interested in, that's the only exchange that I'm using to do all of my current trades. But golly, man, are we here? Are we actually here? Is it a confirmed bear market? And the truth is, yes, in my opinion. It's really hard to argue whenever we look at the price action. But a lot of people have this preconceived notion in their brains that, no, we got to go higher. We're going to go higher because of this, that, and the third. Now, how low do we go? Well, that's to be debated. We went over it yesterday in the live stream where I personally think we're going to go. But, altcoins really never had an altcoin season. And, Ben says right here, bear markets go in three phases. Number one, only a few people believe it is starting and are ignored, and Ben's been right about everything pretty much around altcoins. Even, the only hiccup Benjamin Cohen had was when he gave Ethereum a little bit of hope that it was going to push higher, and that kind of burned him. But anyways, I have a ton of respect for Benjamin Cohen. Phase two, half of people believe, and those that do not start taunting those that do, right? And then phase three is where basically everyone agrees, and normally that's the phase where the bottom is. He says he agrees we are in phase two. Let me know down below in the comments where you think we are in this. But bottom line, whenever I look at it, and yes, we have BTC down here. If we look at Blofin, trying to make new lows. I was hoping earlier, we did a little trade, hoping it would hold this wick right here, but it quickly broke it. As you can see here, it really did not have a lot of strength. But there's a ton of altcoins in the list that we're going to go over. Because I believe there's a lot of fluff in the market. If we just go look at, CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, go back 5 years ago, there was a fraction of the coins available. And whenever we look at it like a pie, you only have so much liquidity, right? And if people are, maybe not into Kaspa because they believe Polkadot's going to come back or something like that, then really our liquidity is spread out a lot. And that's one of the largest problems that I believe we have in crypto right now is valuation. How are these valued? We have Wall Street here. We wanted Wall Street here. We wanted the ETFs. How is it valued? Is there a price to earnings ratio? If that's the case, what actually makes money? We have to go over to tools such as DeFi Llama to see what's actually bringing in revenue or what is just purely speculation at this point. So in this stream, I want to go over and give you all my personal opinion on what I think. Like I said, Never Financial Advice should go to zero, needs to go to zero. And I think that is going to be strength in the market. We've seen the same thing. Well, I didn't see it. I was a youngster back then. I'm not as old as people think, even though I got gray hair, guys. But, when the dot-com bubble crashed, everyone thought that, everything World Wide Web was going to go crazy. And it did. Anything tied to www dot, it had crazy valuations on the stock market. Well, what happened? 90% of those companies got flushed out and went to zero. And it did cause a big recession, But because of that, money was able to concentrate into the good stocks, the good World Wide Web stocks. And so people were right to think that the internet would change the world the same way that I think crypto is going to change the world. And the same fears that we see with this artificial intelligence bubble, right? You see all these AI companies popping up. And are they all good? Because if you slap AI on anything right now, it does extremely well. Whereas maybe we don't need all those companies. So that's where this AI bubble, type of fear comes from. And the same with crypto. I truly believe cryptocurrency is going to change the world, blockchain technology specifically. I think we need to bring things like artificial intelligence on chain. I think we do need a few very good layer ones. I do believe Bitcoin is going to be seen one day as a store of value. Obviously, it's not now, because if it was, it would have been going up when gold and precious metals were. But the fact of the matter is, I believe we're in kind of a dot-com-ish era of 2000 in crypto. How are these cryptos going to be valued? And that's what I want to go over as a part of the analysis on all of these tokens that we're going to get into in just a minute. Let's see who's here today. GM Fam Cloud Deli, longtime subscriber, fan, a lot of love for you. Based All Might, oh golly, Based All Might reposted this stream. I appreciate it, man. I can't wait to see you and meet you again at ETH Denver. We originally met at the base event in San Francisco, and man, we got a lot of them, guys. Thank y'all for showing up. Good morning, brother Priest. We're trying to get to all the comments that we can as well. And then, like I showed y'all earlier, my wife, she's probably telling me that Valentine's Day is coming up. And so I think we might need a promo code for the Discord for Valentine's Day. Maybe code Sancho, or code, if you translate that, or code divorced, or code love. Let me know what's the best one in the down there. But guys, yeah, what'd you say? Forwarded. Saw you were live, and yes, looking forward to it. Awesome, man. Guys, repost the space. Yeah, we're live on X and YouTube. We're new to the live stream, so we're going to get people familiar and be able to count that every day, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday, we're here. Doesn't matter if the market's good. Doesn't matter if the market's bad. We're going to be here. Now, trust me, they're going to be a lot funnier and a lot busier when the market is, a popping, but it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. Like, do you remember the sentiment change whenever this happened? Or not that. Sorry. Let me go back to the daily over here on Blofin. If we, the sentiment change that we seen when we just had a little bit of a green candle coming out of, BTC. It's crazy. Back here in November, we hit this 80. We rallied up to 95. Everyone thought we were back, right? Right here, we were at 85. I actually posted publicly a trade right around here that did very well. It ran up. A lot of people expected 100. We got stopped a little bit short, right? And so now we're going down. But the fact of the matter is, when Bitcoin goes down, it's going to drag down all of these altcoins. And the first altcoin that I want to start with is no other than Ethereum. You know, a lot of people joke and laugh at, it's been the worst investment. I showed yesterday my very first YouTube video, and Bitcoin was around 40,000, which is, let's just say roughly 2x what it is today. And Ethereum was 2,500 at the time. So Bitcoin has, if you take that span of 2 point something years, Bitcoin has done a 2x in the same amount of time that ETH investors have essentially lost money. But I would not write Ethereum off. There's a lot of things that go into Ethereum, I believe, not just from a use case scenario, but even a valuation standpoint. Ethereum is not the best to program, to build upon. That's why we have so much fractured liquidity in Ethereum. If Base didn't exist, if Optimism didn't exist, and Arbitrum didn't exist, for the sake that they didn't have to exist, okay? If Ethereum didn't need scaling solutions, if Ethereum could take Solana's transactions, then this would look like a totally different chart. But the fact of the matter is there is things needed like Base Chain, my favorite layer 2 built on Ethereum, that's needed in order to get the kind of throughput and transactions. I remember during the NFTs, minting NFTs cost $500 just for the gas fee. That's not even the daggum, actual NFT that ended up being worthless, So there's a lot that goes into Ethereum, but the most important metric for me is when we look at actual total value locked. If we're sitting here over here on DeFi Llama, looking at the actual money locked up inside of the Ethereum ecosystem, 59 billion. When you look at Solana is less than 8 billion. So that's about 51 billion more total value locked in Ethereum mainnet than, the second place. That's why we're going to see Wall Street tokenize on Ethereum. On top, Ethereum's never been down, so you can count Ethereum out if you want to, but I'm definitely not doing it. Right here, you could see Base Chain, 4 billion. If you come down here and look at Arbitrum, 3 billion. Those are all Ethereum scaling solutions. So what I was talking about earlier, if we didn't have to have this, fractionalized liquidity, all of this would be added to this top number right here, right? It would almost be 9 or 10x the total value locked for Ethereum than there is on Solana, And so that's why we see the Tom Lees of the world and all of them going so hard into Ethereum, even though the chart looks absolutely brutal, it really does. But whenever we're talking about tokenizing of assets, whenever we're talking about stable coins and all that legislation, there's no denying Ethereum is a huge part of the pie, and it's not going away anytime soon. Good old agua, good old water, And so Ethereum's not going away anytime soon. But I don't think we're ever going to see a time again where you could just blindly throw a dart at something, and make a 20x or whatever like it was, last cycle. I don't think it's going to be there. I think we're going to need merit. I think meme coins are going to be around whenever you have, people with money. When liquidity is loose, people are going to want their meme coins. And even now, we've been doing great on, Base meme coins, Solana meme coins. We had another one this morning that we mentioned. And so meme coins aren't going away. Okay. Something else that's not going away, in my opinion, is AI and big data. And arguably the most bullish narrative that I don't think has really caught wind yet is real world assets. The only real world asset that we have that's broadly used is stable coins. And a lot of people don't look at that as a RWA, but it actually is. It's a tokenized US dollar on chain. That's why I think the US is going to use stable coins to, increase the dominance of the dollar around the world. And then we have DPIN. But all of this other stuff, gaming, trading bots, they're going to be used, yes, but I think it's a very, very niche category. And it's not going to be something that at least in the next, 2 or 3 years is going to be something that does great. Coming down, let's take a look right here at BNB. This is Binance's chain. This is Daddy CZ's baby, right? Look at some of these returns. like back here, you're talking about over a year, this thing was under $20, right? And then it hit almost 1,400. Obviously, it has some merit, but we have seen over time that this liquidity has been stolen, or lost, overall market share. Because if we just look right here, if we take a look at Binance right here, okay, this is the green trend. And if we look back here, it was 13.14% of the overall total value locked in DeFi. If we come over here, you can see it's only 5 now. And so that's what I mean. We've had a ton of liquidity fractured across the entire crypto ecosystem. None of that's good. None of that's good because there's a lot of fluff. Like, why does Plasma have 3% of total value locked? I have no idea. Why does it have double what Hyperliquid has? I have absolutely zero idea. And there's also another core problem that we're going to get into here in a minute. But, Ethereum BNB as layer ones, I believe they're solid. I believe they have totally different use cases. But as long as Binance is around, there's no chance, in my opinion, that BNB, goes down. Now, who knows how much CZ actually owns of it. XRP is one that I love the community and have a ton of respect for the XRP community just because of the simple fact that they are resilient. They are resilient. The only other community that you could even compare it to, in my opinion, is probably Kaspa. But, Kaspa hasn't even been around that long. I mean, look what these people have been through. The people that are into XRP and think XRP is going to $10,000, they have been around a very, very long time. Now, no, I don't believe it's going to $10,000 just because of simple market cap math. But, this is a huge asset that has a lot of institutional adoption, a lot of institutional interest. And as we continue to get Wall Street coming on chain and being more, interested within the overall, crypto ecosystem, we're going to see them looking at Ripple, looking at established blockchains. Even when we come over here and look at something like Solana, Solana is great. It's very fast, but the network has had outages before. And they're going to want something such as Ethereum that can say, hey, we've had 0 network outages. Let's take a look. We got a lot more comments. Kaspa is the best. I have to agree. It's definitely up there on my list. I'll say that. Kaspa, $10. We're definitely gonna do an analysis of Kaspa here in a little bit, guys. I guarantee you that. Moving on down the list, Solana. Obviously, this is gonna be here, right? But I just don't know how heavy Wall Street's going to be in it. And the number one thing I think we can look at is seeing how the total value lock trends, with stable coins. All of that'll go into this math. And as you can see, Ethereum still has a huge edge. But there's no doubt about it, degenerates, people that are, actually trading on chain all the time, they're going into Solana. In fact, I want to show you something funny because sometimes we just have to not overthink it. I want to show you this video of President Trump.
Other than, I'm a big crypto person. I'm the one that probably helped crypto more than anybody because I believe in it. And the reason I believe in it is because if we don't do it, Scott, I think we can say then China's going to do it. Right? Other than,
that was another one. We are extremely happy about that. We are extremely, happy about the potential in it. And I still am. I think that the SEC is gone, but I want to show this, this was talking about, this is when Toncoin launched.
Do you think that Solana is peaking because of Trump coins, etc.?
It's something
it hasn't even started.
Yeah, it's something that you have to like.
What do you mean it has started? The biggest Solana coin just dropped, and that's what made it go to $300.
Exactly.
It just started. This month,
yeah, but
this year.
Who's bigger than the president of the United States?
It's not
he was spot on, right? We should have listened to Aiden Ross. Who would have thunk it? But the fact of the matter is, in my opinion, at least now, Solana's heavily driven by trading on chain, a lot of meme coins, things like that. So the price of Solana overall will go with retail, I think. And something else that you have to look at And something that I like to educate people on, because a lot of people thought we were going into a cup and handle right here, but it failed, is that we have to remember that a lot of these tokens are inflationary, meaning there's more tokens going in. So like if you look right now and you look back to last cycle, you're like, wow, Solana is about a third of what it peaked at last cycle. Whereas if you go over to market cap and you look, you're like, oh, wow, no, Solana is actually still at last cycle's high. And so what does that tell us when we're looking at these? That's telling us that there's the same amount of money involved in Solana right now as there was when the price of it was $260. Okay? That tells you how much inflation it is. No different than the, Federal Reserve printing a whole bunch of money. That's what happens. It's just diluted. Solana's been diluted. I believe it's currently 8% that gets, distributed per year. There has been talk about them trying to vote to lower this to 4%. But it's always going to happen because this is a proof of stake chain. This is not a proof of work chain such as Kaspa. But there's definitely actually proof of stake chains that I like more than it. When we come over here to Tron, I don't even want to talk about it. Tron, I don't know. I don't trust Justin Sun. I don't see any reason to use it personally. If you're, somewhere that uses it, let me know. Anytime I talk to somebody that wants to send like USDT Tron or something, I just like don't trust them. It's like, why are you sending that? Whenever we had that mini Tron season a while back, meme coin season, yeah, I bought it. I traded a couple of them, but overall, it's just not something that I am into. The gas fees are high. Like this is the first one that I've reviewed so far in this stream that I don't think it's needed. I really don't think it's needed. And when we look, currently it's $4 billion. I think this is a lot of China, Asia market that is into this, but there has been a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt coming out, as you can see, like right here. Allegations surface around early Tron price activity. Person claiming to be the former partner of Justin Sun published allegations related to early TRX price movements. They were basically, I read it. She was saying that she was dating him. He said he was going to marry her, all this stuff. And that what Justin Sun allegedly, this is all alleged, was doing was having a whole bunch of different accounts and basically manipulating the price on Binance, probably via perps. And so whenever I take a look at it, it's just not something we need. Tell me, if someone here is a Tron maxi, tell me one thing that Tron does better than Ethereum, BNB, XRP, or Solana. Like just one. I just need one reason. And then maybe I won't write it off, Let's see. Go over here. Reposted the stream. Shout out to you. Guys, I love all y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. So Dogecoin. When we look at Dogecoin, I don't think it's going anywhere. Elon just said we're putting Dogecoin on the moon. You see, Elon talks Doge again, but the market shrugs in a way that everything shrugs. But he basically said within a year or so, we're going to have a physical Dogecoin on the moon. And so that's very, very funny. I mean, but there was a big merger with XAI and SpaceX, and those are about to go public. And so, yeah, a lot of interest around that. If Elon was to put like Doge on the side of one of his rockets, I mean, come on, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, that'd make me want to get back in Dogecoin. I've told this story before, but, one of my first real big potential wins in crypto was Dogecoin. And it's one that'll always have a place in my heart. I bought $200 worth way back here. And guys, I used to be broke. Like when my wife and I got married, we were broke as a joke. We had zero money. There's times we had zero money in our bank. There was times our debit card that got declined when we were trying to get dinner, things like that. So we built everything from the ground up. And so I put $200 in Dogecoin very, very early on. And it went down to like 180 bucks. And I sold it, okay? Because $20, that's 10% of what I put into it, right? And I was already broke as a joke. I couldn't afford to lose 20 bucks, let alone $200. Well, then it took off, right? And I just try to, whenever something like that happens, I just try to forget about that coin, whether it's a meme coin, whether it's, anything. If it takes off without me, I don't FOMO in. I've learned my lessons on that. But Good question. We'll get to it. But I just try to forget about it. Well, a few years later, we were doing a little bit better, and we were in Vegas. And my buddy calls me, and it was around the Saturday Night Live thing. And my buddy's like, bro, I got like 150K. Check your Dogecoin. And I'm like, bro, I lost it. And so at that point, I went and started doing research. And that $200 of Dogecoin would have been worth nearly 6 figures, which would have been life-changing to me at the time. Would have been life-changing to me now, right? 100,000 is a ton of money. And so, the truth of the matter is those gains are gone, right? Like, I mean, this is $17 billion market cap. But what I do like about Dogecoin is it's proof of work. It's a proof of work token. People mine it. So the supply is unlimited, as you can see right here. And so that's why I always say, and like I showed you in the Solana thing earlier, that always analyze this on a market cap, because you could see that back then it hit almost 100 bill market cap. And so right now it's about a sixth of that size, sitting at 17. And so there's always dilution when we take a look at these. So it's just important to look at that. That was a very good example that we showed on Solana of how things get done. Let's see. Doge is merge mined with Litecoin. Always wonder why LTC doesn't move when Doge moves. Good thing. It was kind of funny to see Litecoin, and we're going to get to that very soon. They tried to like memeify themselves. If y'all were paying attention last year, they started posting like, IT posting and stuff like that over on X. And I don't know, it got a little bit of traction. I mean, Litecoin's one that, we're getting into it. Let's see. Dro reposted the stream. Shout out. What do you think about AMP? Yeah, let's see if we can get to it in line today. How do you get a woman without money? I have no money and no woman would talk to me. So do you see how beautiful this face is? I'm just joking. So honestly, I've told the story before, but my wife and I both met when we were 18. She was from Russia. We met at a job that we both worked at, and we got married. So maybe slightly the green card. No, I'm just joking. But I love her to death. She's the mother of my kids, and I couldn't imagine life without her. So it's definitely a good story and a fun story. Let's see. You're right. You're gorgeous. I got a funny looking face. I used to think the same about me whenever I was, starting to make content, right? You can go back and look at my first videos. Oh, I'm ugly. Oh, I sound stupid. Man, I guarantee there's people a lot funnier looking than you, people a lot funnier looking than me. I mean, I think the thing that I always had, because I always did have like pretty girlfriends growing up, but I've always been funny. I've always been able to make people laugh. And so that's one thing I want to be able to come through in these live streams. Whenever I'm doing the, Kaspa review or this review, it's really hard to get to know me, right? Because it's like a 7-minute pre-record. It's kind of rehearsed. It's not scripted, but I'm going to this point, right? And like that. But I don't really have time just to sit here and y'all get to know me and I get to no, I make girls laugh with my face. You're supposed to make them laugh with your mouth, bro, and they run away. Oh, come on now. I don't believe it's that bad. I don't believe it's that bad. Oh man, that's too funny. But let's keep moving on. Whenever we take a look at Cardano, ADA is one that their founder, Charles Hoskinson, he is like one of the best people in all of crypto. But Cardano has not really had much adoption. I still don't think they have a native stablecoin. Let me know if someone is big on Cardano, let me know. But I still don't think they have like USDT or USDC. So, like, what are you really doing? Is this even on this list? Like, no, it's up here in the others. Like, let's try to find it. Cardano. Like, nobody is using Cardano. Seriously. 136 million in total value locked. I mean, I probably bet that Charles has taken more money out of Cardano than that. Like, and this is an asset that's 10 bill market cap. So you're talking about less than 1% or approximately 1% of their values, total value locked. Now they have released Midnight, which will be later on in the list. I think it's ranked around 40 or 50. That's supposed to help out Cardano, but overall, get rid of it. Throw it in the trash. We don't need it, guys. Blow the horn. Don't need it. Trash, trash, trash. So far, out of the list, guys, we're getting out of the top 10 right now. I think the top 10 is pretty solid, right? Obviously, Bitcoin, store of value. Ethereum, huge total value locked. BNB, CZ, and Binance got that on lock. XRP, large institutional adoption. It's not going anywhere. Solana's good for normal, trenchers and things like that. Tron, send it in the trash. Dogecoin, I love it, even though I lost $20 on it instead of making 100K. And then Cardano, put it in the trash. So, then we have Bitcoin Cash. And these were all forks of Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure. And why? Like, why? Why do we need this? What's it doing? Does anyone perceive it as a store of value? I don't think so. Get rid of it, but it's probably always going to be around in some way, shape, or form. Great story, Soldier. Really happy for you. Tell us about GameFi Metaverse tokens, please. Yeah, I said at the intro, if you missed it, I do think there's a purpose for it, but I just don't think that's where we are yet. When we're having Wall Street come on chain, guys, they're going to be looking at financial assets. That's why I'm so big on the real world asset narrative, right? AI obviously is the big talk of the town, talk of the whole world. Real world assets is huge, but whenever it comes to gaming and metaverse kind of things, that's like extra, right? That's what people do when they have a extra money, right? When all the real world problems are solved, when all the real estate's on chain, when all of this is on chain, then people do large investments into gaming. I think the most bullish thing for gaming would be that if GTA 6, if it comes out before I pass away and hopefully, 70 years or something, if it comes out before then and they incorporate gaming, well, then that would be awesome, right? That would be absolutely electrifying. And to be able to see, how they use it within there, what you could buy, and instantaneous. But, whenever I'm looking at what chain it would be on, it makes a lot of sense for that to be on Kaspa. But I will get into that here in a little bit. What is it? Seriously. Oh gosh, this is Russian, right? I know that because my wife, it's either like Ukrainian or Russian or something like that. Like, this is one, I did a little research in it a while back. Leo is done. Look at this guy. Look, Leo is done. Better get out while you can. Yeah, I don't know. I just honestly don't know what it is. Let's try to see if we can figure it out. I looked it up a while back. What makes Eunice said Leo, like in the worst name too? Like, who would want to name a token this? At least with marketing, have a cool name. Solana sounds cool. Dogecoin, Ethereum even sounds cool. Makes you feel educated just reading it. This makes me feel like I had a stroke just reading it. A token burn mechanism means iFinex is committed to buying whatever. Send it to the trash. Don't need it. Waste of money. Kak Russia Dela choo-choo. So very, very, very interesting right there. But I've been to Russia 6 times. My wife's from Archangel's region, if you know where that's at. And so I've been 6 times. Obviously, I've been to St. Petersburg. I've been to Moscow. But she's up north, kind of like by Finland and stuff. Very, very cold. But great people. Sometimes I think here in America, here in the States, we're in this rat race all the time. It's like, even now that I'm running my full-time business, content creator, all that, I never stop working, literally never stop working. We booked a vacation for in March. I'm going to try to put the phone down during that, but we never stop working. Versus my wife's mom and dad, doctor and a nurse. And they're home by like 2:30 p.m. every day, like 2:30 p.m. And it just seems like people in other parts of the world kind of, take more time to enjoy the little things. And that's really my goal, right, for financial freedom. It's not to be able to, buy 10 Lambos and have a garage full of cars that looks like I'm, Floyd Mayweather. That's not my goal. That's not why I want to be wealthy. I want enough money, like hypothetically, say 5 mil, where I could, with 1 mil, buy a house cash, buy a nice car, maybe buy a couple watches, something like that. Because I do like watches, but they also hold, money and stuff, and hold value, if you get a good watch. But then hypothetically putting like 4 mil into stock market and very conservative, say 5% a year on average, that's $200K. I can live on that. I can live on that. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Let's take a look right here. Are you, am I what? No comment. Health and family. Right. I'm trying to focus on that. Whenever I was a chemical engineer, it was hard because I was doing that full time. And then I had to run my business on the side. Being a content creator takes a lot. And especially when I'm trying to do both platforms and I'm trying to do it extremely high quality, so there wasn't a lot of time for my family or things like that. And, but now that I've worked hard enough for those 2 years to get to the point where I could be full-time content creator. And if it wasn't for, sponsors like Blofin and all of you watching, it would be nearly impossible. But, the fact of the matter is that, I was able to build up this business all because I could focus on family, not because I wanted to be able to have, 10 Lambos. Like I really couldn't care less about that. I couldn't care less about a nice car. I couldn't care less about any of that. I just want to be able to, when my kids get home from school, like, hey, daddy's here. I'm coaching my son's baseball league. Maybe I'm not good at coaching, but I tell you what, he'll always know daddy was there. Daddy was there. Buying me, man, honestly, even though I'm in Texas, I don't really know Spanish, honestly, not much. But let's get back into it, guys. Let's get back into it and try to find which ones are the ones that's going to make me some and which ones are the ones that need to go down to the ground. So let's take a look. Hyperliquid going to change the world of finance. I truly believe that. But this is also a problem that we have, which I want to dive into a little bit, is we have these, Hype is a governance token, and I think it's used for a couple different things. So there's probably more substance in that one. But you have a lot of things like we're going to get into with Ondo that, like say the company behind Ondo sold for like a crazy valuation. What does that do to the token? Or if Pump Fund, the platform sold for a whole bunch of money, does that do anything to the token? Is there actually any connection? That's this huge valuation problem and the difference between securities and not a security and all of that. And so really have to just see where the world goes with that. But Hype is one that I definitely like a lot. I'd have to break it down more to see if I think it's overvalued or undervalued. But I think trading, like perpetual futures trading, is going to change the world, because if you look at how options work, stock market options, you basically say this was an option. I think Hype will be $40 by the end of April. Okay. And then maybe I would pay a $2 premium per share. But if I'm wrong on that, I lose all of that, versus I could just open up a long, right? And as long as it doesn't go down or I get liquidated, which your option would go down anyways, then, I'm good. I can be wrong on the time, because I found most of the time when I'm looking at things, I'm normally fairly good at analyzing charts, technical analysis, guys. I try to share all of that in the Discord, teaching people this kind of stuff. So make sure you join here at the WAP link if you don't already. But, I'm normally fairly good at that. The problem is I'm sometimes off. Maybe I'm off by a few weeks. Maybe I'm off by a month, but overall I'm pretty narrowed down. Because this is what I do. I'm full-time researcher. I'm a student of the game, man. I absolutely love this. And so when I'm looking at things, I want to be able to not have a time frame on it. And so that's why I'm bullish on Hyperliquid and all of that. So Hype's definitely one I'm keeping. Like I said, Eunice, send it to the trash. The privacy narrative, I'll go ahead and loop these together, 14 and 21 right here. I think they're going to be around. I think there's a use case for them. I think people want privacy, but the only problem with them is that's what it is, basically, just a privacy token. It's not really smart contract capable. You know, like, can you build smart contracts on top of Zcash? Can you build them on top of, you know, Monero? I don't think so. I would much rather see something like Kaspa be able to have a vProg that's privacy based and be able to handle it that way. And so I'm definitely saying that we're keeping those. Athena, that's a stable coin right here. XLM, I'm going to loop that into XRP, right? It's going to be around. There's a lot of adoption in it. It's kind of seems like a beta to XRP. So you'll see that they move a lot. They move the same way. So those are ones that I am a fan of. But this gets us into this right here, which is pretty interesting, this next one. So if we come over here at Litecoin, you know, obviously, I'm pretty sure that's a fork of BTC, right? I'm not wrong on that, am I? I don't think so. But let me know if I'm wrong on that. I don't think I'm wrong on that. But, you know, whenever we're taking a look at it, I mean, it's the same thing, man. That's a dino. It's probably not going to go away. Could it go away? Should it go away? Probably. You know, like, is anyone actually using it? I don't know. I would love to see it go away just because of the fact that, you know, I think we have fractionalized liquidity. Like I said, you know, I think if we got rid of half the stuff that we would be in an okay scenario. But like, look at this. And guys, you just never underestimate the power of trend lines. It's super simple. I've been saying this in the Discord. Some people are able to do very good technical analysis, okay? And other people do simple technical analysis, but keeping it simple is a way that, you know, sometimes you don't overcomplicate it. You know, sometimes this is all you need. Sometimes all you need is basic fibs and things like that. So Litecoin, I don't know. Like, I like it, but I just think that liquidity could condense. So we're going to get it away. Job right here. Can you tell me one thing that Sol ETH or any other Feld Tech does better than ADA? I mean, good question, right? And I do like ADA. Like, I'm a big fan of Charles Hoskinson. But the number one thing that they've been able to do is liquidity with stable coins. Like, Cardano does not have USDT, and I don't think USDC, right? Like, let me know if I'm wrong on that. But last I knew, they didn't have it. And then the number one name of the game is adoption. They just haven't been able to get adoption, right? And so if ADA was up and Solana was down, you know, I'd probably say ADA's good. But the fact of the matter is, we just have a whole bunch of these things that are taking up liquidity, you know. And I also don't think we need a whole bunch of layer ones, you know. I think we probably need a handful of layer ones. But yeah, buddy, let me know. Thank you for the comment. And I like this kind of debate. I think it's really good. You know, ADA hasn't been able to get the type of adoption. Now, I am excited about Midnight, which we're going to get over in a little bit. It's a privacy part, and I'm not entirely sure how it loops into Cardano, but I'm pretty sure they mine the same or something, or validate the same. Like I said, I'm not extremely knowledgeable on Midnight, but yeah, I mean, they've just basically, the reason Solana and ETH have been able to do so good. ETH, purely because it was first, right? It was first, right? Purely because of that. And if it wasn't for that, ETH, you know, if ETH launched at the same time as Solana, I mean, I don't think we'd be looking at ETH number 2 overall. Like, there's no way we'd be looking at it number 2 overall, right? It's obviously not the better tech, but it's got the longevity. It was number 1. You know, it's got the longevity. And because of that, it's, you know, got a lot of mainstream adoption, you know, or a lot of institutional adoption. Have any thoughts of developing an idea on your own? What do you do besides crypto? Tell us, G. Yeah, I've been looking at, so what do I do besides crypto? So like I said, I was a chemical engineer, and my hobbies are really all around my kids, right? But I like trading. I really just like finance. I never turn off. I'm constantly working, but I do want to get better at that. You know, like I said, I want to spend more time with my kids. So right now, my entire goal is financial freedom. I don't know when I'll get there, but I'm going to work as hard as I can to get there. And like I said, I'm not talking Lambos everywhere. I'm talking about just not having to worry about anything. I have a son, my 5-year-old son's nonverbal with autism, and there's a good chance that, he'll live with us forever, or we're going to have to do something with that. And so that's a worry of mine, something that I have to financially, afford. He won't be on my health care once he turns 26 unless some kind of law changes around that. And so, that's my goal, but it's not a job to me. Like they say, do something you love and you never work a day in your life. Like, yeah, I mean, good things. And, but it's true. It's true. Like I'm doing what I love. So I love finance. I love the stock market. I'm not all crypto. Like I love stocks. I love everything to do with finance. I used to collect like silver coins. I'm into history. I'm into human psychology, like how people think, which I believe is why I like technical analysis so much, because when you look at Fibonacci levels and things like that, it's all based around human psychology, right? Like when people capitulate, when people take profits, all of that. That's why it was really easy to tell what I perceived as like the gold top. It actually extended more than I originally thought it would. But yeah, thank you for that. I bought LTC in 2017. Been hodling. Should have bought more BTC. Man, we all should have, right? I thought Cass is in game. Yeah, I think Cass is. Could definitely be every kid. Yeah, it's sad, man. I don't know what's going on. I can't read your next comment, but no comment on it. But now Canton is one that I think is very, very interesting. Okay. This is going to give a lot of projects that are in the RWA sector a run for their money. You can see the Canton network is a layer 1 smart contract blockchain with configurable privacy and control, solving for public network adoption of RWA and TradFi institutions. I think this is one that I need to do a deep dive on, specifically on YouTube. So I definitely will. I need to get more knowledgeable on it, but this is one that I definitely think there's a place for it. Whenever World Liberty, man, it's stablecoin, obviously, but they have another token associated. But I don't like, I feel like they've just grifted crypto, honestly. Sui's a good blockchain. The only thing with Sui, 4.15 bill market cap, one of my favorite meme coins, Lofi, the Yeti, is on Sui. But whenever I'm taking a look at it, it's one of those things like, what does Sui do better than Solana? Like maybe there's something, but do we really need all these layer 1s, or should this liquidity be condensed? So for now, I think the jury's still out on Sui. I would say that it's good. I would say let's keep it for now. But at the end of the day, I think, or that was the wrong one, right? We're doing this one. But at the end of the day, I just don't think we need like 20 layer 1s necessarily. AVAX, this is one that goes to the gaming question earlier, a very big, like right here. If you like gaming, you will like AVAX. It's like 3 different chains, or ABC. It's kind of confusing, but they're really working on, initially it was a lot of gaming and stuff. And now, as you can see right here are the most developed RWA networks. Galaxy executed 75 million on-chain credit deal using AVAX. I mean, again, AVAX is cool, but do we need all these layer 1s? So now we are finally getting to some community coins, some meme coins. And SHIB on ETH, man, it ain't it. It's not it for me. I know a lot of people who are in it very early. Personally, I like SHIB on base. I think that it has a very good movement behind it. If you look at what they're doing with, they have an app coming out with vets. I think it's like a 5 mil market cap or something, never financial advised, but you can look into it. It's got a really good founder, or actually a CTO lead. I met him at On-Chain Summit. But again, you can just see that there's a lot of these things that are kind of at do or never exist again levels. Like, look at this. Like you're talking about trend lines from 2021 that are either about to break. But there's been a lot of controversy around SHIB, so I wouldn't get into that at all. It's coming down on the list. Coming on. This guy is clueless. He likes MAM coins, but not ADA. Whack up, bro. You clueless. Man, I was trying to be respectful in the comment to you, but like I'm saying, it's not that I don't like ADA. It's that the market doesn't like ADA. Like, there's a reason that it's lower market cap and hasn't had adoption. There's a reason ADA at a 10 bill market cap only has 136 mil in total value locked. There's a reason it doesn't have stable coins. I mean, it's not my opinion. This is, my interpretation of the market. And so, if something's been around that long and isn't up, then, I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just got to listen to the market. But let's go on here. But anyways, I do appreciate you tuning in, whether you're respectful or not. But let's see. Let's go. Hedera HBAR, I like it. I like HBAR a lot. It's one that I originally got in at 5 cents, 4 cents, something like that. It had a few really good run-ups over time. I got in at not this pump. I got in back here, probably somewhere right around here at like the 4 cent range. Probably got out too early on this one, but this is an institutional play, but very looped in the same like conversations as XRP, people that like HBAR, like XRP. But you can see HBAR builds essential infrastructure for U.S. government initiatives like FedNow, ensuring data integrity and alignment with public needs. Let's see. What do we got here? Thoughts on render? I like it. We're going to get into it, but short story. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I just hodl BTC, LTC, and cash, praying they're the end game. Yeah, good. PayPal USD stable coin. Why, Mr. President? I'm so tired of winning. You see that video earlier? Where was it? I'm so tired of winning, Mr. President. What are we doing? I'm so tired of winning. But why? Get rid of it. Don't need it, But the thing is, you did have a lot of people. The reason it went so big is because, everyone was, wanting to get on the right side of the White House, right? They wanted to, in my opinion, Justin Sun, all of them put a lot of money in it. That's why we've seen World Liberty Finance do big. This stable coin, but if you just look at it, this is 5 bill, the stable coin. This right here is 4. Let's just call it 10. That's 10 bill. That's like more than Hyperliquid. That's more than, or equal to like Hyperliquid and Cardano. So like, why do we need it? Like, let's condense this, overall, overall liquidity, and so you're going to start seeing a lot more banks, as we go down this this list. Injective, I liked Injective back in the day. It's something I haven't kept up with too closely, but I did like it. I know somebody I have a lot of respect for, YouTuber is really into it, but yeah, what does Injective do? I forgot. Yeah, if you know, Luke, or if you want to let us know, let me know. Thoughts on Dude and Toshi? No idea what Dude is. Toshi, great community coin over on Base. I like it. I like it a lot more than Brett. I like Toshi a lot more than Brett. But so then coming down here, let's take a look. And we might just get to the top 50 today. Might have to do the rest tomorrow. But let's see. We've got Toncoin, which I like because I do like Telegram. But, it's one that's been sold off hard. It's one that's been sold. Let's switch to market cap. See if there's been a ton of inflation. It's a big drop, man. Right here. 88%. Oh, well, that's actually interesting because I always like to look for the 88.6 level, which is 88 fib level. So it's not going to be on your chart most of the time. You kind of have to add it. Let's make it orange. Why not? Okay, so we're past the 886 level if we kind of look at it as one full pump. But yeah, Ton, you know, I don't even know, is it needed for Telegram to exist? I know they've tried to integrate it into the wallet, but overall, you know, we can get rid of it. Don't need it. Chronos, you know, it's another one. Do we really need it? Don't think so. Let's get rid of it. Polkadot. I don't know if we're gonna have some Polkadot maxis in here, but get rid of it. Don't need it. Like, seriously, why do we need it? Like, I mean, give me one reason why we need Polkadot to take up 2.3 billion market cap. Like, it just makes absolutely zero sense to me. Don't need it. Wish I was into trading back then. I would have shorted it, but you know, like, seriously, why? Like, why? And does anyone have a valid reason why this thing is going to come back? You know, the thing is, it's proof of stake chain. So proof of stake can, you know, stay around forever, right? I mean, it's very cheap to maintain versus a proof of work chain is very expensive to maintain, right? And so, guys, if you're interested in any of these, you know, they've got a ton of stuff listed on Blofin, and you know they're a partner of the channel, so there will be a link down below. We have this campaign going on that you could see right here, a little bonus campaign, so that link will be down below. But they're very early to list a lot of things. I really like it a lot. Is this bear market real or manipulated? It's real. Well, I think futures have perpetual futures and overall. So is this a real bear market? Yes, I think so. Is it going to last as long as everyone thinks? No. And I've given this scenario before of what I think, but I honestly think it's kind of going to be in line with traditional ones of 1 year to the bottom, which would take us to September or October. And my thesis behind that, and we can go over it if you haven't been able to see it, but I posted something when BTC was like 95K. So right at the top of this recent pump that we've had. And let me scroll and find it, and I'll walk y'all through it again. But I think it shows the power of, you know, trend lines, moving averages, and everything. So if we basically look at this is on logarithmic. So if you look at a chart on logarithmic, you can just think of it as taking time into consideration. And it has to do with how each dollar moves on the chart. And I can make a video explaining that, but it's a little tough to do right here. But if we take a look, this has been here since 1600. Okay. And you can see it held here, or it was created here, right here, right here, right here. Okay. So this is a very valid trend line, right? Also, the 200-week simple moving average is right here also. Also, the third thing is if you take a look at the cost to mine Bitcoin, it's also around the 60K level, something like that. So all of it really makes sense. Now, I didn't think when I posted this, I didn't think it was going to happen as quick. And that's why I said I was thinking 70K, because the thesis behind it was that this would take a few months to play out. This trend line would therefore be higher. The 200-week moving average, the higher the price holds up, the higher that would go, so that this would eventually come up as well. But we've just moved a lot quicker than I thought. And, you know, my thesis to everything, you know, bottoming around September or October. And I think we may have some alts bottoming a little earlier, actually, just because there's no more room to go. But, you know, we have a new Federal Reserve chair, if you can see this, coming mid-May that president's already announced. He's pushing aggressively for rate cuts, which is going to put liquidity into the system. But it doesn't happen instantly, right? You need about 6 months for this liquidity to flow places. And so then we also have Clarity Act, and, you know, we already had the Genius Act legislation that's going to give some clarity for institutions who want to adopt crypto. And so that's basically from Doodles. Yeah, man, I don't know. I haven't looked into it. Injective is a Cosmos based blockchain that lets developers build decentralized exchanges, perps, futures, trading, spot trading, options, and synthetic asset, RWA trading advanced. Man, I need to look into it some more. I need to look up what they built within the last year since I've done an update on it. I know, man, my mind's going blank now. His name's golly, what is it? No BS Crypto. Yeah, really good guy. I've talked to him before. What Injective is doing, the partnerships are very interesting. Yeah, Luke, I'll definitely do some research on it, and I'll make a full dedicated video on YouTube for you on there. I like Litecoin. Yeah, man. I mean, it's cool. I just don't know where it's really being used. Hey, buddy, I'm new to your channel. Where do you think Bitcoin's going? Yeah, we front ran you a little bit, brother. But yeah, that's kind of, I think we're going to have a date with the 200 a week simple moving average. Now, guys, never financial advice. Always do your own research. It's just what I think. I could be wrong. But something else that I didn't mention in the little explanation that I gave earlier is you can see that in 2021, when we came down, we swept the highs of the previous cycle. And so if we take a look right here, this is around 65K, okay? The highs of this cycle right here. And so it almost makes too much sense for me to see that we are going to sweep this level right here. It also is going to meet up with the 200-week moving average, and it's going to be around the price that Bitcoin miners are break even, and it's a trend line that's going back to 2016. I mean, that is like 4 very solid data points that I'm looking at. And, I think that's what's going to happen. I learned a long time ago, don't fight the chart. The chart just uses news as a reason to do what was already told in the, in the chart. Like, I don't think anything could have happened back here. Even a Bitcoin ETF, anything back here, in July of 2021, that would have really changed the fate of this too much, And so, yeah, that's my take on that. So now coming on, Polkadot already sent it to the Tether. This is gold, right? That's cool. I like tokenized gold. Mantle. This is one I don't ever like migrations, man. If you migrate and do a brand change, it's just it's not a good look. Get rid of it. Give us this 2.2 bill in liquidity, or where is it? Yeah, 2.2 bill in liquidity. Let's put it in some better assets. So one that I really, really, really love is not this one. No, this is an exchange token, right? But Tau, guys. This is awesome. This is proof of work. So it's actually secured by computing power. Okay, that's why I like Bitcoin. That's why I like Kaspa. That's why I like Tau. It's supported by actual computing power. It has very similar, if not the same tokenomics as Bitcoin. When you look at 21 mil Tau, and when you actually look at what it does, this is cool. This is decentralized artificial intelligence. And I have kind of full detailed review kind of things on the Tau, but this is a cool one. This is a gem in my personal opinion, guys. So whenever you're looking at it, again, you have to remember that it's inflationary because it's proof of work. But at the end of the day, miners receive Tau and miners receive fees. So the thing with any proof of work network, and Bitcoin's going to face this fate one day, is that you have to be able to make enough money on fees for whenever the tokens run out, right? Like when Bitcoin is able to mine all 21 mil tokens, right? What's going to keep people leaving those computers on, those data centers that are mining, securing the network? It has to be fees. And right now they have not came up with a solution for that. Lightning is a layer 2 scaling solution for Bitcoin that a lot of the fees do not make it to mainnet. So that's the fear. And Kaspa has the same problem. But I think Kaspa is working on VProgs and are working on ways to be able to increase those fees and therefore keep, miners online. And so it's always good when you're looking at anything that is inflationary to switch to market cap. Because like I showed earlier that, when Solana was 250 last cycle, it wasn't actually a third of the market cap. It's actually even to that right now. So the top of last cycle, and I'll show this real quick to anybody that just came in so you understand what I'm talking about by price to market cap. But if you look right here, you'd say, wow, Solana is a lot less than it was even at the peak of last cycle. Like, look at that. It's 65% lower. But if you switch to market cap, it tells a totally different story. We're actually just a little bit under it, right? So we're definitely not 60% under it. We're 20% under it. So, you know, looking at market cap tells a story, but I think that Potential Tau is one that is probably my favorite AI play. And I think what we're going to do, guys, I think we're going to do the top 50 today and 50 through 100 tomorrow. And so depending on where some fell out, we'll have to see. I like LTC, but I don't like the price. People are using a lot. Why isn't price moving? You're logical. Your reasoning and take is non-mooish and grounding. Oh, man, thank you. I appreciate it, man. I really do. You know, I tell you what, nobody liked this post. You know, nobody likes a bear at 95K when the fact of the matter is I'm more bullish on crypto than I've ever been. I'm more bullish on blockchain technology than I've ever been. I think that it's going to change the world. I also believe that this happening to the chart is actually extremely bullish, more bullish than if we were just to take off here and barely eclipse a new all-time high. Because like I explained it yesterday, I think of it as a spring. You know, when those profits are taken, when people capitulate, things like that, it just increases that spring. And that's a ton of energy, right? And so we're getting adoption. I'm more bullish on cryptocurrency than ever. I want to come back over here and look. Yeah, we're kind of don't look too hot right now, guys. But like I said, this was expected. It's nothing that is surprising me right now. Bit teacher time, Aave, very good. I like it. I like it a lot. You know, this is basically DeFi protocol. And as you can see, Aave enhances DeFi accessibility through integration with Kraken. Oh, that's pretty cool. Enabling yield earnings on deposits via lending network. I mean, the world's coming on chain, in my opinion. I think it's cool. Meme Core, honestly, I've never really looked into it that much. If anyone knows, MemeX pushes the meme coin industry. Like, we don't need the meme coin industry being pushed. I mean, these are community coins that I believe they either get, you know, adoption or they don't. They either build a community or they don't. When we take a look at, I believe this is OKX's coin. I mean, I guess I use Blofin. I don't use OKX. So we could get rid of that one too. Even though I did meet some people at Base On-Chain Summit that worked with OKX, very sweet girls. I think it's probably a good exchange. It's just not one that I've ever had a need to really look into too much. Pepe, you know, this really started this cycle's meme coins. This really started the whole Matt Fury craze. This really started all of that. And when you take a look at it, you know, the thing it has going for it is that the total supply and the circulating supply, you know, you're 100%, right? So there's no dilution. But I was kind of looking at this line as like a line in the sand, you know, like right here, you know, and it kind of lost that. Like, what lines are there next to look for Pepe? Like right here? Like what? I mean, right here, you know, I mean, if we go to market cap, let us see it a little better so we can understand, because it's really hard to say 0.00005, you know, like what does that even mean, you know? And so, yeah, it's like, I don't know, maybe down here, you know, like 250, maybe right here, you know, I would be interested, but it's just one that I think we need it in terms of meme coin communities, you know. I think it's cool, but it's definitely not my favorite. I mean, this is a nasty chart, guys. Like, this is a nasty, nasty chart. I mean, look at this. And I'll teach you how to do the technical analysis on this. So when you do technical analysis on a head and shoulders, what you do is you come over here and you measure the head to the neckline, okay? And then you take that and you put it here, okay? And so that means that Pepe is going to essentially 0 per the technical analysis, right? That doesn't mean that that's going to happen, never financial advice, but it's not a good looking chart at all, you know. And the thing with meme coins are that it's so hype driven, right? Nobody can hold anything. Like, if we come over here, go to Dex Screener, you know, like, let's look at this one. This is one that we put in the Discord earlier, around 2 mil, I think is when I put it in there. It was around like 8 a.m. today. I put it somewhere over here. Yeah, right there. But you know, I mean, yeah, it'll probably go up, but then it's gonna go down, right? Or you know, it's definitely, you know, nobody holds anything, right? And so that's the problem with any community coin, you know. And when the hype's gone, then you know, it's kind of like that. So honestly, if I had to say, you know, I can send it down. Near Protocol is pretty cool. Near Protocol is artificial intelligence. They built some stuff up with near intents, but again, guys, I mean, it's just not a good looking chart. Like, look at that. Like, it's like you kind of got to say it has to hold this level, right? Like anywhere between here and here. Like, and so that's what's going to be interesting to see is, you know, how low do some of these assets go? It's just yeah, it's not good to see, you know. And we didn't get that altcoin season we were all hoping and, you know, expecting. This is bullish though. Grayscale files to convert near trust to ETF. That's cool. Some ETF news, right? Grayscale, yeah, there's a lot of news around that. And near intents is really cool too. And so that's something that you should do your own research on and figure and take a look into that. So another stable coin, Ethereum Classic. I mean, a fork, you know, I think of that kind of like Bitcoin Cash, you know, get rid of it. When we come down here, take a look at Aster. You know, so this is one that we could say is competing with Hyperliquid, you know, and this chart doesn't go back fully. Let me see if how far back the Blofin one goes back, because CZ posted it pretty early. So this one goes back about the same. I think CZ posted around like 5-10 cents, something like that. But it's one that if they're able to make, they're saying they want to make their own like layer one, not just a perp, you know? So basically, if you take a look, Hyperliquid originally was launched on Avalanche, I believe, and now it's its own layer one blockchain. And so if they're able to do something like that, I'm bullish on Aster. Internet Computer is one that gets a very, very, very bad rap because of this chart. And there's a guy named Six Figs on YouTube who I know. He made a video talking about manipulation by FTX. And so there's no doubt that it's a very bad looking chart. There's also no denying that this is some of the coolest tech in crypto. It's truly a Web3 or like Web2 on Web3. Like you can do absolutely everything, and they're leaning hard into AI. Kind of the problem with it, besides the chart, is that this is ran like a company by Definity. And you can see 180 team members, and they're probably all paid in ICP. And when they give grants out, they're in ICP. And so there's a ton of development going on. There's a lot of cool stuff. But the problem is it's just a drain on the token itself, right? Like I basically say when I look at this, that this chart kind of starts here, right? Like because I take all of this out of consideration. But when we're taking a look at it, there's no doubt that it's a lot of really, really cool tech. Let's see. CCP, I agree. I bought Litecoin at one point, sold it all, thinking it would catch up to silver and gold ratio. Never happened. I like looking at the ratio as well, buddy. Crash was hyping Brett, another junk coins. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I think that Brett is just, I like Toshi more. If I'm looking at top meme coins on base, I definitely, Brett's never been one that I've been into. I didn't like it. But again, they came after the meta of, you know, Pepe, right? Because it was a Matt Fury character and stuff. Monad is the next to go berserk. The Sisterhood. Oh, cool name. I wonder where that came from. Where'd Sisterhood come from? Let me know. But you know, so ICP, it's cool. It's really cool, but it's almost like it should be on the stock market and not on, you know, the blockchain, even though obviously the token is used. There's 8 year. Anybody that's part of the 8YG got their tokens essentially locked up for 8 years. Let me know down below. Right here, MYX Finance is one that I've never done, you know, really any research on. Launched in May 2025, at least here. Had a huge run up. Tell me this doesn't smell  Golly jolly. Look at that. What does this do? yeah, always important to look at when people are getting tokens unlocked and things like that. That's why I recommend market cap. Always looking at market cap. Doesn't look like it's really a change there, but you could see here there's just a ton of dilution coming over the time. What does it do though? What does it do? MYX is a non-custodial derivatives exchange that enables on-chain. Okay, so it's like a Hyperliquid or Aster competition, I guess. I think Hyperliquid and Aster probably got that locked up. I think we probably don't need it. Sky. Maker. Okay, I remember this. Maker DAO rebranded Sky. Not a fan of rebrands. Not a fan of migrations. I would get rid of it. And then Pi. This is one that a long time ago you could like mine it on your phone by walking or something like that. There was a lot of hype and promotion around it. Pi Network is a social cryptocurrency developer platform. Send it to the trash. I don't know. Zebic. I like it. I like it, guys. Man, I was intending to get into the top 100. Wow, we got some good ones tomorrow. Look at this. Ondo, we've got Aptos, Cosmos. We're definitely going to get into this number 57. Algorand building a lot of really cool stuff. Kaspa, Quant, guys. Midnight, there's the thing related to Cardano, Arbitrum. Wow, tomorrow is going to be a good one. We've got a lot of good stuff that we're going to go over with tomorrow. But like I said, overall, I think that we've got a ton of fluff in the markets. And what I'm looking at is I think that, like perpetual trading, like Hyperliquid and those, I think that's like a up and coming asset class that's going to change the world. I think artificial intelligence is going to change the world and needs to go on change. And I think real world assets is going to be tokenized. I don't see any reason why if I wanted to go get a HELOC loan, which is a home equity line of credit, that I have to go through a bank. If who's in here? If TP Hand 920 wanted to buy 10% of my home, why can't I tokenize it and be able to have it all legal and everything like that on chain? Why do I have to go through this like centralized entity and stuff? Also, but I just think financial assets are going to be the first that comes on chain because that's where the money is, right? And then I think there's definitely world use case for gaming, and I would loop deep into like AI, like the same need for that, like computing. And there's some really good ones in the top 50 through 100 that we're going to get into tomorrow. But yeah, man, I'm excited about this. And then Pudgy Penguins over here. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be a good one, guys. We're going to be back at the same time tomorrow. So again, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. I would absolutely love to have you. We post over 500 videos. We just started the live streams yesterday, guys. We're going to be here day in and day out, no matter what. You can check out sponsor of the channel, Blofin, for this right here. And there's also a link for the WAP link where we do all kinds of trades, guys. Anything from DGen trades to this to, we just had someone new. Welcome to the BAM. Watch list, everything, guys. Technical analysis, news, YouTube. Man, it's just a great community. We got a ton of close-knit people in there. A very, very good community. A couple things we have to look forward to is I'm going to have Algorand come up here. I'm going to be integrating more and more interviews into the overall live streams. We're going to be interviewing people. So if there's anybody, I'm trying to get Michael Sutton up from Kaspa to come talk. So anybody that you want to see, anything you want to see in the live stream, guys, it's the Finance Freeman family. I'm not here for myself. I'm here for all of you. So let me know what you want to see down below. I appreciate everyone being here today. On-chain tokenization eliminates all the middlemen, and that, my friend, is why they are fighting it. They are fighting that because they know that. We're seeing that right now with the Clarity Act, that the banks are really protecting those stable coins. They don't want them. They don't want them because, why would they pay me? Like if I had 6 figures in a bank account, they might give me like $100 a month, right? Versus stable coins could be, potentially a 4 or 5% yield through something like Coinbase. So we've got big institutional money that originally helped with adoption with ETFs for BTC and things like that. And like we've seen more ETFs for like near protocol being announced. However, now that it comes to the stablecoin side of things, they're fighting it. And so we need to keep a really big eye on that, because I think that's one of the things that is a catalyst for us, as I put right here: Clarity Act passing and great institutional investment. So yeah, make sure you subscribe, put bell notifications on, follow us over on X, guys, and we will see you well, let me get this one. I have millions of Kaspa tokens. Will I ever be rich? We are going to get into Kaspa tomorrow. It fell out of the top 50, but I will say it's one of my favorite projects there is. Love you all.